Hello, everybody. I'm Shilpa Suresh Banerjee. First of all, I would like to thank you for shortlisting me and for giving me an opportunity to give a demonstration of my teaching skills. The topic I've chosen for today's demonstration is French Revolution. Let's first start by understanding what is French Revolution. The French Revolution was a period of radical political and societal change in France that began with the Estates General of 1789 and ended with the formation of the French consulate in November 1799. So, if I have to put it in a nutshell, in a very simple language, all the radical changes that took place in France in all the areas political, social, cultural all of it put together is known as French Revolution. The values and institutions it created dominate French politics to this day. So, why is French Revolution important? Very obviously, the French Revolution paved way for many other revolutions across Europe. And another reason is that the French Revolution, even to this day, is the guiding principle of France politics. Even to this day, it plays a very major role. So, let's study the causes of French Revolution. The causes of French Revolution can be broadly categorized into social, political, and economic causes. So let's study the first and the most important cause, that was the economic causes. So what was the economic scenario back then that led to the revolution of France? The first reason is rapid population growth. The last few decades before the French Revolution saw a humongous population growth in France. In fact, France with 26 million inhabitants in 1789 was the most populated country of Europe. So we can understand how, we all know we have faced this problem, how population growth reduces the economic growth. So what happens when the population increases? There was greater demand for food and consumer goods, but there wasn't really that much of production. So obviously, rapid population growth led to dissatisfaction among the people because they did not really get what they were supposed to get, even the basic necessities they were deprived of. What you need to understand is all these factors are interrelated. So the next economic factor or the cause that led to French Revolution was economic depression. Economic depression is nothing but the economic crisis that France saw. And what was the reason for this economic depression or economic crisis? Mainly the French participation in the American Revolution. It had driven the government to the brink of bankruptcy. So they had spent a lot of money due to their participation in American Revolution. So because of this, they had to tax the nobility to get back that money. So all this directly or indirectly led to economic depression, which also became the factor or the cause for French Revolution. The next is unemployment. So as I told you already, there was so much of population. It was one of the most inhabited countries of Europe, but the jobs were not too many. So that's why unemployment was very rampant. So what happens when there is unemployment? People are hungry, people are not able to buy the basic things. So this also became one of the main reasons for the French Revolution. The high food prices. On one hand, the population is increasing. On the other hand, there is unemployment, there is scarcity of food. That's why the cost of food is very high, which obviously only the nobility or the upper economic classes people could afford. But when it came to the third estates or the general people, they could not really afford because they did not have the earning capacity. But the prices of the food was very high. So this also led to a huge dissatisfaction and which eventually led to the revolution of France. Next is regressive tax system. If you look at the tax system of France, it was very regressive. It did not keep up with the current economic, the current economic scenario, and the necessary changes were not made as per the new standards. So this also became one of the major cause of concern among the people, which eventually led to French Revolution. Next, let's move on to social causes. So, what was the conditions prevailing in the society back then, which became one of the causes for the French Revolution? The first is social inequality. So, the major cause for French Revolution was social inequality. There was a lot of inequality between the social classes. France back then was divided into three estates. It was called the first estate, the second estate, and the third estate. The first estate was the high ranking members of the church. The second estate was the nobility, and the third estate was the common man. So these were the three estates, these were the three social classes, and the divide between them was too much. Now, if you look at this, the first and the second estates, they enjoyed a lot of privileges, they had a lot of money, they led very good life. But when you look at the third estate, the common man, he was even struggling for the basic necessities or the basic needs of life. There was no employment. The prices of the food was high. There was a lot of dissatisfaction. The third estate was not even considered, for political participation. They were not even treated at par with the other two estates. But the common man wanted to climb up the ladder. The common man started understanding that, what is happening to us since so many years is wrong, and now is the time to revolt. Now is the time to make it right. This became one of the main causes for French Revolution. English coffee house culture. So what happened? A lot of discussions used to happen in these coffee houses. A lot of debates used to happen. So what happens in such a scenario? People started discussing about what's happening in other parts of the world. There was already the American Revolution, so people were talking about it. People knew, and people debated. People put forth their opinion. So many of the revolutionaries could actually influence others too. So the English coffee house culture, which became rampant in France, also became one of the main causes for French Revolution. Transnational elites. So what happened over a period of time, it became very common for people to travel from one country to another. So whatever good things were happening in the other countries, those were discussed, and people started thinking, why shouldn't it happen in our country? So these kind of transnational elites, people who would travel from one country to another, who would try to compare the countries, it became one of the main causes for French Revolution. Growth of industry and the rise of middle class. Earlier, the economy was mainly agriculture dependent, but slowly, when the economy started, becoming dependent on industries, there was a growth of middle class, and this growth of middle class paved way for new thinking. They wanted to climb up the ladder. So they started realizing that they could also become rich, and it's not that uh, being rich is not a birthright. You can also climb up the ladder, especially the economic ladder. And also they had increasing purchasing power. So all this led to French Revolution. Political cause. One of the main political cause was absolute monarchy, which later came to be known as ancient regime. So absolute monarchy means it was not a constitutional monarchy. Not much was taken into consideration, or not much of advice was sought. The monarchy did as it pleased. So which did not really go well with the masses, which did not really go well with the people. Obviously, there is a lot more to French Revolution than what was just explained by me. But because of the time constraints, this is all I've explained. I hope you like the explanation. Thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity. Thanks. Bye bye.